The yearly celebration from the heart of Rooster Teeth's production center has come and gone, and to help us cope with the post-RTX blues, we're talking about our favorite experiences right here on Rooster Teeth Reviews!
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
I rhymed it. That's the joke, is that I rhymed it.
I was going to say, did you mean for that to rhyme?
Eventually I did. Welcome to Rooster Teeth Reviews right here on AfterBuzz TV Animation, where we cover all sorts of stuff relating to the company of Rooster Teeth. You can see them right there, Red versus Ruby Camp, Nomad of Nowhere, and some fifth thing that hasn't happened yet. Welcome to the show. I'm one of your hosts, the internet's Mark and Donica, joined by my team, Stacey Shuttleworth.
Hey guys.
Megan Salinas.
Hey everybody.
And Katie Cullen.
Hi all my buddies.
Welcome to the show, everybody. We are going to be talking about some of the stuff that we experienced firsthand and possibly secondhand, and sort of discussing where the company is and where we are and some of the stuff that we might be talking about in the near future. But for right now, I think why don't we get started with before the beginning. Day zero, we had an opportunity to be on the red carpet. That's not the royal we. That's the team. That's the colorful side of the table.
we got the two people in the gray shirts on one side, and then the yellow and the green over here.
I mean, the blue counts.
The blue is lovely, and you guys are
blue
matching
is
with the
lovely.
blue as well. The blue side.
But we pop, and everyone listening on
moment.
iTunes is like, okay.
With
Good pod.
First night becoming a tradition for Rooster Teeth as well as us. This year was a little bit different. This year was a little bit more of the Let's Play family as opposed to sort of Rooster Teeth on the whole. So you got to talk to a couple of different types of folks on the red carpet. Tell us about your experience.
We did. I'll be honest. I was a little nervous going into this particular red carpet because, unlike, previous years, this isn't a scripted property that I'm familiar with or whatever. The achievement hunter side of things is an aspect of the company I'm still very much new to. Although, as we'll talk about later that night, I'm very excited about. However, talking about this latest collaboration between Funhouse and the Rooster Teeth team that they're working with for Arizona Circle had me in stitches. Here, even before we actually got to see the screening, just sitting down and standing up, talking to the cast about it, and sort of getting their take on where the idea came from and how weird and out there it was, and some of their favorite behind the scenes bits was just absolutely fantastic.
See, and you always go into these saying, I'm so nervous, I don't know what to say, and then you absolutely kill it.
So she's a professional.
Every single time.
Megan Salinas, noted professional.
Thank you guys.
Damn Skippy.
One of the things that I'll say that if I could recommend anybody to Let's Play stuff, anything with Elise Willems attached to it is top shelf, top level. She is a different level of creative that they had, and once she joined Funhouse a couple of years ago, it turned into everybody asking themselves the question, how do we work with Elise Willems? And now we finally have the scripted stuff. There's some bits. There is an Avatar Let's Play that Funhouse did that Elise helped with budget and writing, where everybody's kind of in blue makeup. It's ridiculous. I highly recommend everybody do it.
Oh, that Avatar.
Yes, that one.
I default to something else entirely.
No. Funhouse doesn't cover good stuff.
This is true.
Yeah. God. But agreed. Arizona Circle being one of the things that we got to preview on first night, along with The Weird Place, which is a 4-episode miniseries, which I found out by rereading the Variety article from a couple months ago. Achievement Hunter, which survived Pilot Month, and we're going to be getting more on Halloween.
I'm so happy that of all the pilots, I'm ridiculously happy that that's the one that we're getting first, or at least that we're confirmed that we know of. That's the one that I enjoyed the most, definitely. And the clip that they showed us on first night looked crazy.
Spooky.
Yeah.
Something happened to a non-believer, which may or may not have made them a believer. We're going to have to find out on the 31st. But I think the one that we all kind of walked away just genuinely enjoying, in the sense that there's something about it that speaks to everybody, is the Achievement Hunter guys again. That's 3 series that they showed off on first night. This one being Hardcore Tabletop, which debuts August 21st. And they may be showing us the second episode. They may not. We don't know yet. But Stacey, what did you think of Hardcore Tabletop?
Man, this was like pulling out all the stops. If you could be as dramatic as you wanted to when gaming, like this is how I would play games if I could be that dramatic all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of, in a weird way, it's like the way they shot it and the way they put it all together is very much how playing board games feels when you're a kid. Like, it feels like it's this very high stakes, like, oh, guys, my strategy, I'm gonna do this and this and this, and we're gonna throw them in jail and everything like that. It has this sort of childlike whimsy to it. But at the same time, given the thing that like really threw me for a loop was that they were playing for real money.
Well, we didn't mention, we've been tweeting about it. All four of us have been tweeting about it since RTX. We didn't mention here, Hardcore Tabletop is hopefully going to be an ongoing series where season 1 is a game of Monopoly with the boys and girls of Achievement Hunter playing with real money. The entire bank is made of real money, and whoever wins, whatever money they win, that's theirs to keep.
There's also a jail cell under the table, which we knew there was going to be a jail cell, didn't realize that was where it was. And when we got the press kit for first night, and it was, all right, Arizona Circle, that sounds fun. They're doing what?
Yeah.
On Hardcore? Like, I was in it to win it within a sentence and a half, and already going, they're doing Monopoly. What else are they going to do? Are they going to do Settlers of Catan? Which is where my brain went.
Real sheep.
Full-size Settlers of Catan. Potentially real animals, railroad tracks. Just could you imagine?
Actually trying to lay
Those little, Playmobil houses.
It's that polyfoam flooring that kids get to play with, but it's real stuff. As a production manager, I would love for whoever wins Hardcore Tabletop to not get the however much money it is, because that probably goes into season 2. But there's an image that I sent Steve. There's with all of the stuff that we've been hearing about from the Let's Play community, as we're going to go into and talk to. In case we need it, we have another graphic for any of the Let's Play family stuff we got. We got Funhouse, Kind of Funny, Hardcore Tabletop. That is the new Achievement Hunter logo, which is kind of like a ghost version of their star. Let's Play Live, because we're going to talk about it, and I'm just kind of filled up space. But we've also got Achievement Hunter and Sugar Pine 7, which is a completely scripted. If nobody's, I don't think anybody on the table has seen any Sugar Pine 7, but Suptic is weird, but his style is so interesting, and the fact that Rooster Teeth gobbled them up is so beneficial to them. But yeah, we have that image, we have that version of the show in case we ever need it. There is going to be a little bit of a lapse between now between the end of Nomad and the beginning of Ruby, so we got some shows to fill. Yeah. Maybe it'll be one of those on that one. Maybe.
We'll see what happens.
See what happens. Shout out to our iTunes listeners. So at the end of day 0, our paths kind of diverged. Katie, you indulge in this yearly tradition, the SideQuest Silent Auction. Can you tell us a little bit about that event?
I do. This is I want to say, I've gone almost every year that I've been to RTX, so this is my 4th or 5th auction, and it is always a charity auction. All the proceeds always go to, there's a different charity every year, and artists from the community create all manner of items. There's jewelry, there's crochet, I have a friend who for the past few years has crocheted a doll, usually a red versus blue character, and then gotten the voice actor to record a line, put it in there, and
that's cute.
Like last year it was a Felix doll, and she got Miles to say "squeeze me again" and see what happens.
Cute.
There's art. There were beautiful burned aluminum plaques with different sayings and logos and whatnot on them that I really wanted, but way out of my price range. There is the Naked Gus cardboard standee. That is, it's at the point
Cheese
where
master.
It's at the point where there's a little list of everyone who's brought him home every year. So it's basically, you win Naked Gus, it's bragging rights, you redonate him to the auction next year.
Ah, that's cute.
There's several dozen items, and there was, at this point, a live auction at the end of the night as well, which was new for this year. And it's a time where SideQuest is really good at doing outside of RTX events, at bringing people in the community together. And it's one of the few times of the year where I get to dress up and it's not a work function because they don't require formal wear, but they encourage it. And so seeing all of these people that you know are going to be in cosplay or in t-shirts and shorts of just trying to survive the Austin heat for the rest of the weekend, coming in their absolute formal dress to the nines best, it's incredible to see what that means for different people.
It shows respect to the event and to the entire nature of it. And we always tend to miss out on signing up for that, and also we tend to be rather busy on day zero.
Yeah, it's dividing and conquering. I always go with my group of friends. We make a very big point of it, and we actually did a formal photo shoot before we left. So for those of you looking at my Twitter going, what the hell is that new photo? That's that.
Nice. So that was your division in conquerization.
That's my new word now.
The rest of us went to Let's Play Live, which me being a big fan of the Let's Play family, this was still a first for me. I was trying to go to the Hollywood one when they were in town, but dear God, did that sell out forever. But Megan and Stacey, this was your very first experience with the playing part of the Let's Play family. Megan, starting with you, what happened? What did you...
There were lasers.
There were lasers.
There was smoke.
Sponsored by HP.
Mega 64 was talking some smack.
The only non-members of the Let's Play Live family, but they've been friends of the company for
of
who
course.
knows how long.
But like, it was so much fun. I mean, I having watched the RT documentaries, I knew of Let's Play Live, and obviously we've seen like a couple sort of bits, and I'm aware of like some reoccurring and running jokes, like the heist. They always have to do a heist every time they do a live event.
And you're familiar with Edgar.
He is the one in the hole,
yes.
Apparently. But yeah, this was something completely different, and seeing all the different people and all the different types of games that they got together to put on a really good show was nothing short of phenomenal. It was so impressive, and the most important thing, it was fun from beginning to end, and that's exactly it. They put on an excellent show.
Stacey.
Yeah, I agree. And I think they showcased a bunch of different styles, too, with all of their different families kind of coming together. But it was still such a celebration and love of gaming and just being ridiculous with your friends. And I'll be the one who calls Garbo.
Garbo!
Guys.
Garbo!
I need to see Lindsay do interpretive dance.
Too late.
At every event.
Every
event.
They were selling Garbo bags in the RT store.
Oh, I'll get there.
I didn't recognize them because I thought they were Nomad critter
So
bags.
did
They had eyes.
the moment I saw the diagonal zipper, I went,
See, I didn't know who Garbo was, so I grabbed the guy who had a bag and was like, where did you get that? What is it? Oh, it's Garbo. Actually, I think it's quite nice.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know if I've ever seen Mark so excited about anything when he came up to me with this bag.
I was laughing about it till we got to our first airport flying back. Like she could attest, I just busted out laughing a bunch. I was like, it's just Garbo.
I just look over and he's like, yeah, I'm still laughing about Garbo.
It's so
You're like, that was 3 days ago.
It's the perfect product. Similarly to the Nomad buddies, it is the perfect product, and I absolutely loved it. There was an image that y'all, I don't know if you got, but it was absolutely terrifying. It was Garbo. Whatever. It was Garbo fucking Loopy Lupe during the Wrecking Ball segment.
Oh my god.
Loopy Lupe being the official mascot.
Leave the table for this segment.
The official mascot of the Let's Play family reunions, voiced by Jeff. that would interrupt the Let's Play going, oh, that's Loopy Lupe here. You got it's the worst and it's the best. It made it so. Oh my god, that segment. Like Jack mentioned after it, he's like, yeah, Lindsay came up and said that she had an idea for a segment, and I had no idea what the hell it was going to be.
So that was Lindsay.
It was wonderful.
Yeah. So,
that makes sense.
brain. But I would love to see another Let's Play Live. This was sort of like a best of. Let's stick everybody in here that we can, as many families as we can. I would like to see a little bit of a tighter show because it felt long a couple times.
It went a little long.
But luckily they had booze, and that's kind of evened it out.
Oh yeah, I had a grand old time.
I was expecting y'all to make it back to the apartment before me, and you only beat me home by like 10 minutes. I got home at like
late.
quarter to midnight.
They started late and they had an intermission.
I do want to ask though, guys, favorite game/segment.
I was gonna say favorite Let's Play family presentation, which is essentially the same thing.
Oh, my favorite segment was, I have to give it to the horror movie segment, Friday the 13th. The Friday the 13th gameplay was so much fun.
Yeah, that was everybody. That was Couch Shop, kind of funny, some Sugar Pine.
Yeah, so I know that's sort of cheating a little bit.
Yeah.
Just everybody shoved in there.
We'll allow it.
What'd you like?
Well, man, seeing as I had literally just picked up GTA again and finally gotten to the online portion, watching them pull off a heist that, quite honestly, one of my friends would have come up with.
Yeah.
Very similar circumstances.
I'm telling you got to go to their heists for some ideas.
I've watched a couple of them since.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I would say it's kind of a tie between Funhouse's Dragon Ball segment, the segment
that was
so good.
I took so many
fucking
pictures.
end. But just
it
the
was
fact
great.
that they kept bringing people out, and then all of a sudden here comes Lawrence as the Colossal Titan, and they played the whole
it was
fucking
good.
song. But,
Also, Bulma for the win.
yeah, the newest member of Funhouse, which was announced at their panel, Alana Pierce, I think is her name, formerly of IGN.
Yes.
But I gotta say, kind of funny, just because it was pro wrestling. Nick Scarpino was already drunk and was just talking to people in the front row. And Greg Miller's heel character, and he just like spilling people's beers, cursing, and Andy Cortez living the dream and winning the Kind of Funny World Heavyweight Championship. Good for him. What an event, and we highly recommend, if Let's Play Live comes to your area, go see it. Moving from day 0, I want to talk about the floor. Katie, what was some of your favorite stuff from the floor?
I am super biased because the Outlaws were there. I was actually able to catch an interview with a couple of them, so that's. And I just like watching people play Overwatch in various levels of really good professional play and, oh, honey, this is the first time you picked up a controller, ain't it? It's all super fun to watch. I have to say I appreciated the hell out of the Verve booth because it was comfy couches and phone chargers. They knew exactly what they were about. And there were just overall, there were a lot of good booths that had good interaction. There were a lot of good merch booths. I really missed the Mike's Hard booth this year because Rhinestone Riding Shark and free booze on the floor was always really nice.
Yeah.
And I'm sad that it didn't make it this year.
I think because of the whole thing with the water and it not being as openly available to people, maybe it was a bad idea to say, hey, free booze, but you got to bring your own water bottle.
Admittedly, I never had any trouble finding water.
Sure.
And they stopped worrying about making people not bring food in. So, okay, cool, whatever. I think I panicked for nothing.
I think everybody did a little bit.
Yeah,
Did
we
you-
looked at those rules and went, oh dear.
Did you get anything from any of the independent booths?
Oh my God, I did. You know which one I'm talking about.
I know which one you're talking about.
I found this. I cannot for the life of me remember who they are. I think the username is like Lady Granny Panties or something like that.
It's
something like that. It's a little wild. But she had the most beautiful necklaces. There was a dragon charm that I swear was the size of a dollar bill. And they would fill them with resin and put different designs in them. They did flowers. They did galactic designs. The one that I had my eye on and did not buy because I cannot wear statement piece necklaces. I've tried. It doesn't work. Gold dragon outline, and it had Orion and the Southern Cross in it, full-on constellations. And I was just staring at it like, oh my God. I bought an hourglass. I bought a sea salt ice cream. I dragged Stacey back there to buy stuff.
I got the big dragon statement piece with pink petals. And
Statement piece.
I dragged another.
Amazing.
That's what huge necklaces are called. They're statement pieces because it's the focal point of your outfit. I dragged another friend back there, Ophelia. I dragged her back there and she bought necklaces. And then they are kind enough to donate some of their cat-themed pieces to the cat shelter that I volunteer at, their charity auction that they're doing later this month. So I love these
That's
people very, very much.
Wow.
And I wish I could remember what the hell they were called.
Let's try it out later. Megan, what did you like from the floor?
I didn't get to spend a ton of time on the floor this year. You know, it's just the way our schedule sort of panned out. I didn't get to spend as much time hanging out. I'm always a big fan of the Artist Alley, though, just seeing all of the cool art that people have for sale. But there was a little bit of time I did spend on the floor for interview purposes, and I gotta hand it to the Drawfee crew. Those guys are so freaking hilarious, and they were so sweet and generous with their time, and they are a group of very, very talented artists. And getting the chance to just chit chat with them for a little bit, even though it was for an official interview, they were so sweet and it was so fun. Definitely a highlight for me this year.
Stacey.
They took drawing requests. They drew me 2 scary cats, a cute cat, and a dog on a skateboard when I asked them to draw cats.
Yeah, and they were taking
were
free
so
requests. It was
That's
so
cool.
cool.
Oh,
Oh, that's very cool. I mean, I gotta second the Artist Alley. That's my favorite place almost at any con, and also the most dangerous place for me.
For sure.
Absolutely.
We kept kind of just drifting, and you're like, "Where are you going? You know where we're going." You're like,
We
no.
can't go this way. We have to turn around
Yeah,
now.
it's
And
not
you're
the
like,
last day
I'm
yet.
just being drawn to it, Mark, like a moth to the flame.
And then I dragged you straight into it for the necklace people.
How dare you pun that
dragged.
phrase?
What?
Being drawn to it, to Artists Alley.
Hey!
Can you blame
It
her?
wasn't,
No.
it wasn't intentional.
Is it ever?
No,
Oh, okay.
not for me.
It
That's
wasn't
fair.
intentional.
That's fair.
And then, of course, the Independent
hate you.
Gaming
I know
Alley.
you.
So again,
The Independent Gaming Alley.
yeah, there's a lot of good stuff this year.
Man, yeah, there was some games that I'm real excited about, and some games that looked real silly and real fun to play.
Yeah.
That I'm excited to see come out.
There's like that idle puzzle match. Like,
yeah, it's like competitive Bejeweled.
yeah, yeah.
Yes!
It looked great.
I'm in.
The color palette is pink, white, and pink again.
Wow.
Yeah, essentially.
Sounds a little bit like my sorority.
Well,
Anyway.
that that sounded like the tone of that was like an ex-wife joke. Oh, it sounds like my sorority.
But her aim is getting better.
Jesus Christ. I'm always a fan of what they do with the floor space at RTX. They usually reserve the biggest part for the live gaming, the live mixer, I suppose, this year. Not the live other company that we won't mention. But it's
The center
weird.
stage.
The center stage. There was a couple of booths that I realized afterwards I never saw. Like, just because of the way that they were run, like I never went to Ray Narvaez's booth, and I wanted to see some of his stuff. There are just a couple of ones that weren't that we just never walked by, unfortunately.
Ray's is always on an end because they always have to have a line for him and they line him up agast the walls.
No, I know. It was just one of those.
I
It was
walked
one
by
of
at
those
one point.
situations where this year, just for whatever reason, it just wasn't there. Yeah.
Yeah, there were some corridors that we just never made it down. It wasn't.
Exactly.
It wasn't completely just like straight aisles up and down.
Yeah, it was all a little snake sometimes.
It was just fun to explore, but
Oh, yeah.
we did miss out on a couple of things.
No, and we didn't always have a lot of time to explore.
So true.
I do appreciate the yearly free gifts of 5 Hour Energy from the 5 Hour Energy booth. They're a very welcome sponsor. And since they redid their formula, this is a sponsor piece, but since they redid the formula and it tastes a little bit more all natural, they have like an Arnold Palmer one.
No way.
That went down real smooth.
Pretty good.
Looking for sponsors.
I was gonna say you're angling for a sponsorship, aren't you?
Please. I mean, hell, there was a year where they were at 3 of the 4 conventions I went to, and I praised above every time I saw them, to the point where I went, I got one, but can I have another one, please? And just 10 Hour Energy. But
Tweet them.
the RT store was very well organized this year. The first booth was really cool. They had an area for community artists, the community corner, which was literally just a corner. But there was a great opportunity for everybody to sort of mingle and hang out. It's a very, very well constructed floor. Sorry for boring you. Moving on.
It's late.
Yeah. Moving on to day one. Let's kind of speed through some of our favorite things. We had the Camp panel in the morning where we found out nothing too new, just some new merchandise arriving and some stuff that's already aired at this point, which we'll talk about on Wednesday on our Camp show.
Although there was a wonderful sketch,
which is online.
God,
People can find
is
it.
it?
Yeah.
Yes, it
Hell
is.
yeah.
Since it wasn't locked behind anything, they didn't stop the stream. You can watch it on Mixer. Essentially, a lot of the exclusive stuff that is just for RTX fans, you have to deal with it. But if you go on Mixer, every single panel was documented, and this was and the Camp panel was as well. And I watched it on YouTube with my wife a couple of days ago. So it's there. It
please
exists.
go through and gif the hell out of Issa's reactions because
camera
they
didn't
are
follow it.
beautiful.
Yeah.
No.
The camera was on two, 3 shots. Sorry for cutting you off.
Oh no.
Yeah, so you
It's
can
lost
see
to
it.
time.
You can see it every now,
Sad.
but that's an RTX exclusive.
Yeah.
Seeing Issa's reactions to
Issa leaping to her feet and screaming.
Teddy being an ass.
Yeah, you
That
get
was
the
great,
effect
though.
of it in the video.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's there.
what I'm waiting for is for somebody to full on animate the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
It'll
It gonna
get
happen.
Also, speaking of Mixer, might as well just say it now. We are our panel. We have been advised that our panel is going to be staying on Mixer. We will not be able to pull it off and re-upload it throughout our own channel. So we have a link down below. If you're listening on iTunes, sorry, but you can. We'll post it on the Twitter, so you'll be able to see it. But that has episode 3.5. Well, it was going to be 3.5. Now we may have to re-record it, so it may become episode 4 of Welcome to Vale, as well as a mini one of these, a mini panel. So make sure to check that out and support us and get in before we release it on our SoundCloud. We had a nice amount of people that came to our panel. A lot of friends.
Noise.
Exactly 69.
A lot of new people checking us out for the first time, and we really appreciate everybody who came along, and we really appreciate all of our guardians that were in the room.
All of
Yes,
the guardians.
so good.
The guardians who helped us out with the tech ahead of time. The guardian who was secretly in his heart rooting for us when he got to 68 on the count. Like, I don't know if we would have gotten that final person to come in if he hadn't been like, come on, if he hadn't willed it into the universe.
It was. I can just imagine him looking out the door, just like,
Come on.
I need it.
And everyone who attended the panel and then hung out afterwards and just wanted to talk.
New
like,
people,
y'all are wonderful.
people who've come by before. It's a wonderful
I was
experience.
so surprised. We took a show of hands at the very beginning of the show of like, who all here knows what we're about? And a good chunk of people raised their hands. And then we were like, who all here has no idea but is interested? And so many people raised their hands, and we were just like, wow.
Why?
Thank you so much for, taking a chance on us. We really appreciate you guys.
There were people who came in specifically because we did Welcome to Vale.
Yeah, we
Had
got
no idea what to expect.
One person said specifically that our Welcome to Vale episodes got them into Ruby.
Holy cow.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah. What? Person right at the front said they're like, yeah, I'm here for Welcome to Vale. You guys convinced me to watch Ruby, so I marathoned it all. And so we were like,
Are they like traumatized now? Or
I'm still waiting to finish watching Ruby with one of my best friends. We got done with season 2, and he went, "Man, I really like Pyrrha." Yeah, poor child. I can't wait to finish that with him. Luckily, he's been out of state and just kind of like out of mind, so I haven't been able to.
So to jump back into the Wayback Machine, 2 years, 4 years ago, at our very first RTX where we all covered it together, I was chatting with a bartender at a hotel a little ways from the convention center, and she's like, "Oh, you're here for RTX, Rooster Teeth? Yeah, I've just started watching Ruby." I'm like, "Oh, what do you think?" And she's like, "I'm loving it." And I was like, "Oh, who's your favorite character?" She's like, "Pyrrha. Pyrrha's my favorite character." And I'm like, "Pyrrha's great." It was great.
Can I have
she's like,
drink?
She's like, you know who else I love? I love Penny. Penny's so cute.
My favorite
Can you
villain.
make that new drink a double?
Favorite villain
for you too.
Favorite villain is Torchwick. Clearly. I love the redheads.
It
What
is
can I
the
say?
redhead trifecta. But you know
So-
what? Bad things come in threes. And we're all very protective of Nora.
You know what? You know what wasn't a bad thing that came in threes? The fact that there were 3 Ruby panels, because we gotta move.
Sorry.
So, favorite thing that came from the Ruby panel.
Adam Short.
What they said.
Yeah.
I was gonna start with Stacey. What was it? No.
I mean, they nailed it.
Yeah.
I
There
mean,
was some
also
cool merch
that's
too.
Yeah.
that Scholastic book deal is going to be amazing.
So excited.
Yeah, I'm really excited with the amount of like sort of other publishers and I guess publishing partners that they're going to be accessing. One can imagine the type of preparation that can go into writing something like that. I wonder what they prepared them with, because Team Coffee hasn't, they were pretty prevalent up until season 3, I guess.
Up until everything fell apart, they were great.
My boy Yatsu.
I really like the idea of one, getting anything more with Team Coffee. It's great. But we saw the same opportunity when we started doing Welcome to Vale, in that like there's a big question mark about what's going on at Beacon after everything fell apart.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of what it looks like this story is delving into, not only, in looking at Team Coffee and the events leading up to the fall of Beacon, but also like what's going on afterwards. And so it's like, that's really cool that like they're allowing this young adult novel to like kind of fill in some gaps.
I hope there isn't a shoehorned romance, personally, but I figure the book will be very entertaining.
The romance is going to be between Coco and that gun.
It's long-standing relationship.
Tale as old as time.
So we've got the Adam Short, which is actually coming this coming Saturday, which I'm a little sad that it's coming right on the heels of Nomad, and I'm afraid that it will sort of take sort of the luster away from the Return of Our Son. But
I think we all have enough love in our hearts for both, or we have love in our hearts for Nomad, and we really want to see
Nothing but
Adam
hate
get
for Adam.
hit in the face.
we do. But in terms of, I hope that it's a situation where the people that are just in for Ruby, Stacey can attest, being one of those folks in the early days. One of the folks that come in for Ruby goes, oh, what's next? Nomad of Nowhere. What's this? Let's check it out. And then Nomad builds from that audience. That's what I hope happens. I wanted those Boop headphones. They were really expensive, but I was a strong boy and didn't do it.
You'll fall eventually.
I will. The second they're made available, I will purchase them. But thank you.
That may have been the darkest thing that Stacey's ever said.
It's okay.
Sooner or later, you'll give in.
It's just a product.
You'll fall eventually. Holy shit!
Great.
That was amazing.
That was like, I don't think it could have been any more chilling if I heard Arya Stark say Valar Morghulis.
Well, there went my transition to the RT animation panel. So let's talk about that.
Let's just talk about it. That was.
Anyways.
So the RT animation panel was sort of like, I would liken it to a D23 catch-all panel where it's, hey, this is what everybody's working on just a little bit, and we got to see a lot of bits and pieces from all of the animation departments. What was your favorite topic covered, starting with Megan?
Anytime I get to hear David Tennant's lovely voice, getting more behind the scenes stuff of Genlock. It's kind of cheating again to say Genlock, but I think we're all so excited for it. It's something that Rooster Teeth itself has been really pushing, and so getting David Tennant's sort of character introduction trailer, kind of, even though you don't really see his character, but you hear his VO. That was really cool. But honestly, just kind of looking overall at all the different stuff that Rooster Teeth has coming up, that Nomad trailer, and I know we'll talk about it more when we get to the Nomad panel, but that Nomad little teaser was also really great.
Katie?
Just Genlock. I mean, Oh my God, I'm still a little wrecked from Stacey being dark over there. I need a moment to recalibrate.
The trailer got a standing ovation.
Yeah, the trailer got a standing ovation, and we got that sizzle reel that the people who were working on the show didn't know about. So that was incredible, and I think that's one of those panels where I don't know why they weren't expecting many people to be there. Maybe because a lot of the Animation Weekend panels don't get a lot of take, but that's a panel that should have been in Hall 1.
Yeah.
That is a panel that should have been where the Ruby panels were, because it had probably 800 seats and it needed easily 5 times that number.
It was, the fact that all of the teams were there, it was really nice to talk to all of the people we know at the company. It was nice to find, to shake hands and put faces to Twitter accounts. And that was one of my favorite things coming away from this, was sort of further cementing those relationships that we've made from doing the show. And it's one of the positive effects of doing the show. It was really happy about it. Stacey, what was one of the things from the animation panel?
I mean, aside Genlock,
I mean,
I don't think I can add
everybody's-
anything to that. But
That one.
honestly, and this wasn't just isolated to the animation panel, but just the consideration that, you know, all of our big Rooster Teeth names give to everybody working on this project, on these projects. You know, they're there to recognize everyone. Everyone gets to feel the love and get recognized for all the hard work that they do. And I think that energy was just so infectious and so fun to be in the same room as.
Yeah. I was a big fan of seeing every single facet of the animation studio was represented, and it wasn't like, this is too small or this is too whatever. But Death Battle approaching 100 episodes and getting a boost and more, and it's one of those shows that was kind of always like, maybe I'll watch it this week, maybe I won't. But they're getting a lot of attention, and the show is being kind of completely reformatted, or at least it's getting added to and plussed up. And I'm really happy for the folks at Screw Attack. I'm really excited for Motor Night, even though we didn't see anything in motion, but it's just one of those really silly things. I liked being able to laugh at scat humor when it came to that RTAA about Jeff working in fast food. There's a lot of stuff that you don't get to share in a setting like that, and RTAAs have such a unique style that it's not something. To me, RTAAs are like quick bites, quick snacks.
Yeah.
As opposed to, hey, everybody gather around, we're gonna watch this RTAA. It's so to have that experience together and everybody go at the same time was pretty damn entertaining. But seeing the intro to that to the Genlock clip, where Michael B. Jordan was like, "No, I'm sorry, I'm super busy," and he was just playing Dragon Ball Fighters. Big fan of that, and the way that he was speaking makes me think that he's really into this project. It's
he
not
gets to
just
be the lead in an anime.
But
He's got to be on cloud 9.
The way that he was talking about Gray and the team, made it seem like, he's in it for the long haul. Let's get to day 2, which was jam-packed with us being in one room. That was our major media day. So in order to kind of expedite this, favorite interview from Saturday.
I know what yours is.
You want to start with you then?
I mean, I had all of 2, and they were both incredible. That I got Miles and Carrie and Gray for a whole 8 minutes, and that was one hell of an 8-minute ride, starting with them introducing themselves as an a cappella trio, which thank you for that, lower third. I appreciated the hell out of that. And then just being able to talk with Joe about Red versus Blue and talking about what turned out to be a very tumultuous season and the ups and downs and what did you like and what was your reasoning behind this. And I thought it was very informative. I thought he opened up a few story things that I hadn't considered before and should be super fun. And if you were interested in the plot hooks that we got at the beginning of the season that Griff straight up sprinted away from, watch that interview because he goes into those and it's fun.
Megan?
I always appreciate everybody we get the chance to sit down and talk with. Everybody's super gracious with their time, and everyone has a lot of wonderful things to say. I stared into the sun and didn't go blind. I got to interview Troy Baker, and I'm still not quite sure that it was real. But
It was real. He talked about Sunset Riders. I would remember that.
yeah. Are we sure that's not a collective fever dream we all had?
No.
Mine was a different fever dream.
Oh, what? Who was in your dream?
His what?
I don't know if I know who my what.
I thought Leetti's was your fever dream.
Sure, let's go with that.
But getting the chance to sit down and talk with Troy Baker, I was, again, super scared that I'd screw it up, but he was an excellent person to get to chat with, and he has a lot of great stuff to say. Getting to talk to him about Last of Us Part 2 was super cool. And like I came to realize it at the very end of the interview. I was like, oh man, I had so many other things I wanted to say that I didn't have time for. So I hope I get the chance to interview him again at some point.
That was me with Greg Miller. All of the Let's Play folks that I got a chance to talk to were very gracious with their time, similarly, and getting to know them on a different level and talk to them so freely was such a great experience. And I've known Bruce for a couple of years at this point, and sort of looping him into our, hey, let's talk to our friends for a couple minutes was very nice. And I've been getting a lot of really nice compliments about that interview. I don't know how people are seeing it. He never retweeted it. He just favorited it. So I don't know how people are finding it, but I really appreciate everybody. All of these can be seen, as well as ones that we're not talking about, on the channel. So just click down below on AfterBuzz TV Animation. Check all of those out. There's one more that's yet to be released because we had a sound issue on it, and I'm really doing my best to try to fix it. So that is the one with Lietti, which was too much goddamn fun. And let me tell you, coming home before our day 2 nighttime activities to hear that all that audio got messed up, not great.
So sorry.
Very sad.
I will say one other thing. I got to interview the cast and crew for Bloodfest. Nick Rutherford putting me on blast for a minute was really funny because I asked a question about the ethics of the horror genre, and he's like, way to bury the lead.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 3 sentences in that question before you got to that. And then like everyone was along for the ride, and then you hit them with that, and they were like, what? It was pretty great.
So that was
pretty
funny.
dang great.
Ethics in horror movie journalism.
It was a jump scare at the end of a question. That's what it was.
So the
got 'em.
The nighttime activities for day 2, just because we've still got a little bit more. The always open mixer.
It was a mixer.
Yeah.
Super fun, super nice. The rain was incredible, but it was a mixer. It was nice.
I really appreciate it because they did take time to stand up and address everybody, and they talked a lot about positivity and wanting to do good in the world, because right now we're living in a very interesting time. So I really appreciated them like wanting to put positivity out there. So
yeah,
well done to the Always Open crew.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And capped off with the Richie Branson, Jeff Williams freelance orchestra concert.
So good.
Very fun.
I think that wiped us all out.
Very fun. It's because everybody was standing the whole time.
I got a set list.
Stacey, out of the whole experience, what jumps out at you now about a week and a half separated from the event?
I mean, just being in that room with other people who were just as excited to hear this music as I was. In my daily life, I've got some of these songs as like my ringtones and stuff, and they'll go off in public, and no one else cares. But, like this entire theater full of people cared.
What was the favorite track that you got to hear?
Caffeine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Metal
good.
AF.
Caffeine's a good one.
I'll extend that question to the rest of the table. Favorite song that you got to hear?
I'm with Stacey. It's nice to be in a group, in a room full of people who, like, when they hear the song and they all get just as excited as you is really cool. When I hear that initial bump, bump, bump from I Burn, I'm like, ooh!
See, and for me, it was like, oh, it's Iber. I mean, I'm wearing my Yang shirt right now that I got at RTX. So it was like, yes, I love Iburn. This is great. And then halfway through the show, they broke out Bow Chicka Bow Wow, which I was not expecting.
Same.
But
And
was delightful.
I enjoyed that so much. It was a little bit of funk in the middle of all the rock, and you could see everyone dancing, and it was great. I loved it.
We got some talking that shit too from the Camp soundtrack, which is I think is one that is kind of forgotten once we get into the just Richie part of it. And Richie Branson is one of my favorite performers now, being able
That
to see
was
him
wonderful.
live
He
was
because
marvelous.
he told his story in such a unique way, and some people would this was the perfect crowd for it. Some people would be like, shut up and play another song, but he was telling his story of where he was when he was writing these songs, and performing the songs got him into a different mind space, which allowed him to perform the next song after that. He played one of his originals, and the rest was all stuff that we knew from Camp. Being able to hear Keeper of the Flame live was definitely a highlight of my night.
Absolutely.
I liked the way that Jeff Williams, though, the entire team got a chance to be featured. I like how they brought everybody up, back down, and back up again. It was quite the emotional roller coaster. But I mean, Caffeine, hell yeah. I'm the One has been one of the ones that I've been blasting since and before. I forgot how goddamn catchy Boop is. Really.
That's my favorite.
Ultimately.
Yep.
And Gold gave us a great idea that we're not willing to talk about yet. But the whole show and being able to thank Neith Ohm for everything that he's been able to do for the company. He was there. He was in his Ren cosplay, and he was just happy to be around. And it was truly a gift to be able to thank him, and that was a big highlight of the night. Oh boy, time. Hey, so day 3 we had a couple of extra interviews. Go check out the Jordan and Issa one, dear God. But also we had a couple of others
Jen
that
Brown,
day.
Shannon
McCormick.
That was also when I got to talk to the Outlaws, and we did a lot of talk about Wrecking Ball, which was pretty great.
Hashtag the usual suspects.
Got the Ruby Roundtable as well as the Founders Roundtable. It's so nice getting to talk to these guys, like any chance we get, especially for the Ruby Roundtable after the Adam short, sort of getting to sit down and chat with them one-on-one. Well, not one-on-one, but getting to chat with them
13-on-7.
Yeah, getting to chat with them about that character short, getting to chat with them about the upcoming young adult novel. Super, super cool.
But the big panel of the day there was Nomad of Nowhere.
Yeah!
And it was such a fun and well-constructed panel where it was just a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff, but not really any sort of a preview of the second half of Season 2, which shows how hard the Nomad team has been working since the end of the first half of the season, to the point where if they're still working on assets and assembling stuff, dear God, is this going to be a dense 6 episodes? And we were kind of warned of that at the panel. Highlights from the Nomad panel, starting with Stacey.
Not all of the animation tests.
Yeah.
I mean,
What was your favorite animation test? Because mine was definitely watching the Nomad twerk little rock buddies.
that was hard to beat. The
amazing.
Red Manuel one was also.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
the Red Manuel one was my absolute favorite. That was my highlight from the panel.
And I wonder what else they have that we haven't seen.
So much, I'm
So
sure.
much. My other favorite thing was Elizabeth Maxwell pitching an idea for a bounty hunter, and I would say what that was, but she was like, I want to make a joke about it on Twitter after the fact, and she's like, but if they actually use it, like, I want to just like hold back on that a little bit. So
go ahead.
Just know that she pitched a fantastic idea for a bounty hunter.
And you can watch it on Mixer.
Yeah.
She also pitched the idea for, like, can we just get, like, a Friends chibi, like, about the rocks and whatnot? And Miles going, that's a really great idea, but we can't go full Minions. Never go full Minions. Like, I would absolutely watch an episode of Nomad of Nowhere that's just the friends doing their stuff.
I would like to see a re-edited season 1 of just anytime there are rock friends in the frame, it just snap zooms to them and
their
just shows
POV,
them
yeah.
reacting.
Like that Instagram filter with the music and the pink around it.
Nope, just focused on them and their reactions to everything that's happening in the world. I like Jordan. Anytime somebody brings up third base coach, I'm a big fan of it. One of the rocks from episode 1 that's just like, go, go, go.
I liked Cucumber and Alexander. Was that the Tiny Rock's name?
Yes, that I believe was named after one of the animators.
Alexander,
The oblong ones. We're gonna start talking about Nomad in 2 weeks, and we're gonna be running sort of one a week until the run of Nomad is gone, and it'll be sad to see the show go at least on a break. But it's not like we're gonna be without anything. RTX was such a fun weekend, and we had a lot of work to do. But I believe we got it done. There's still work that is being done. But let's talk about overall thoughts and what we learned. I want to start with Katie.
I always love RTX. Part of it is because it's the only time I get to see a lot of my friends because they travel from all over the continental United States and Canada to be able to, and that's the big group that we were staying with. So part of it for me is definitely the social aspect, being able to finally see all these people once a year that I talk to online, and then also being able to talk with these people that we talk to face to face. I'm an extrovert with a lot of friends, and I love being able to see them. So for me, that is the biggest draw for RTX.
Did you learn anything?
About myself or about everything?
Did you learn anything?
I learned that professional Overwatch players think that Overwatch is as silly as I do because that game is silly and I love it.
Well, all right. Megan?
My favorite part, at the risk of sounding narcissistic, I think my favorite part was just our panel. Getting to actually perform Welcome to Vale Live was a real treat. And it was definitely my highlight of the entire weekend, and that's in a weekend filled with lots of other highlights. Getting to talk to Jeff for the first time was really awesome. There were so many wonderful things, and it's always wonderful getting to talk to Elizabeth and Jen. Everything was great. And of course, all of the gals from Ruby. In terms of what I've learned that Troy Baker is just as handsome in person.
That's a cop-out.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Hey, you know that handsome person? Still handsome.
Very handsome.
Sometimes you need to confirm these
You
things.
never know if they're real or not. In fact, he might not be real. He might have been a clone. He very much insinuated in the interview that he's not a real person.
You can watch that interview right now on AfterBuzz
He's
TV
a
Animation.
demigod.
Stacey, what were your thoughts on the con? You visit a lot of cons.
I do.
And so
I think RTX is so special, though. I think the community there is just so welcoming and warm and lovely, and just it's a happy place to be. From the floor to the panels to, the talent, everyone involved in Rooster Teeth, everyone is just welcoming and amazing. God, I really enjoyed the concert. For me, sometimes seeing music live makes it connect a lot harder sometimes than just hearing it in the background of shows. So there were a lot of songs that I was like, oh, I know this song, but wow, I don't think I really know that song. So that was a really fun experience for me. As far as things I've learned, we don't even know half of what they get up to behind the scenes, and I just need all of these animation tests and really silly scripts and things that don't actually make it to
we hope for a Blu-ray release. Some sort of a thing.
Absolutely.
Blooper reels. Blooper reel. Blooper reel.
When it comes to RTX and this year's RTX, I'm really taken aback by the reaction that we get. We sometimes I think we can take it for granted that we've had this different sort of connection with the company for the past 4 or 5 years, and it truly is a gift. And a lot of my favorite moments are the moments in between moments, like making the dumb joke about finding Red Manuel's because it's a dumb Nomad joke, bumping into Elizabeth on the way to the camp panel and helping walk her in, like all of the little stuff in between of all of the people that have we've been lucky enough to welcome into our lives, and we've been very grateful for them to welcome us into theirs, and it makes me wonder if we should start to change how we look at how we specifically look at RTX and what we get out of it, and what we can make it, and how we can further better the experience for everybody, and how we can do that, and in terms and that's essentially my thoughts and what I learned. I look forward to continuing the communication with these people over the next year or so. And it's weird how much we meet people that live in Los Angeles out of state and then come back into state and never talk to them in between now and then. I would say our Con Cal boys, our friends at Constantly Calibrating and Casting for Two, Chris, we see them once a year and always go, we should do something. And we never do. And we always
change that this year.
Yeah, and we said that last year. But
we met an LA friend, and I'm getting drinks with her on Thursday. So
that's great.
Keeping those connections. Before we go, I really
Yes.
want to say a big thank you to Sophie and Allie, because they are the reason that the press side of our RTX experience went so smoothly. They busted their asses. I'd say this RTX is probably the smoothest one that they've ever had, and that is saying something. So, well done, y'all. We are super grateful.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that because one of my favorite
Sorry.
moments. Chill. One of my favorite moments of the entire RTX was on Sunday when we were all leaving. So we left our bags in the press room. They're not there anymore, so don't go find them. But I had an opportunity to sit and talk with Allie and Tasha. Tasha, she's been a Guardian for several years, and we just. It's one of my favorite things about cons is just starting to talk to people, and that led into Tasha and I becoming friends on the Rooster Teeth website and all of that. And there's also Brittany, who was Issa's Guardian that we got to talk to and have fun with, which led me into a conversation with Chris from I just said it, Casting for Two, and we were talking about. Oh man, the Kind of Funny panel was really fun today. Nick won the championship back because for whatever reason, and as we were talking about it, Nick was just walking by the press room with the championship, and he walks in and goes, "I heard my name. What's up?" And we just sort of like that whole sequence of events is one of those things that makes me love the convention so much. Whether it's staff, whether it's fellow press people, whether it's talent, whether it's whatever. People go to RTX to build relationships on various levels, and it's thanks to Allie and thanks to Sophie and thanks to the whole publishing firm, which I was going to say and now I'm not, just in case, just so people can't find them and inquire and all that sort of stuff. But it's such a gift, and a further gift is being able to do this show every week with all of my wonderful fellow panelists and for you, the viewer. But until Wednesday, where we're going to be talking a little bit more about Camp, let's final thoughts. What's next? Starting with Katie.
What's next is Nomad, and I am ridiculously excited about all of that.
And where the folks can find you on
Okay,
social
I didn't
media.
realize that was what we were doing. All
Yes.
right, yeah, cool. No, I'm Katie Cullen. You can follow me all over the social medias as well as on YouTube and Twitch at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. If you like watching reaction videos to Rooster Teeth things, they live on that YouTube channel. Voltron is back Mondays at 7. Attack on Titan has moved to Sundays at 6. And yeah, regular show on Wednesdays. And it is super awesome. So do the thing.
I'm Megan Salinas. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at The Menguin. That's TheMenguin. Just follow me on Twitter and you'll be up to date on everything.
Hey guys, I'm Stacey Shuttleworth. You can find me all over the web at Stacey Shuttles. When I'm not there, I'm over on Twitch at Inventory Full PT, where we stream a gaming show and regularly stream what games we're playing. So come get up to fun hijinks there.
Yeah, we did an episode of our anime talk show from RTX, so check that out if you get an opportunity. You can find me on Twitter at MarkBDonica. You can find all of us at The Rooster Team, tpublic.com/The Rooster Team. SoundCloud, welcome to Vale. That's a place where you can get like top quality audio versions of Welcome to Vale, and hopefully that's the place where they can live in the future. But our YouTube page version got put back up. The band was like, whatever, we'll just put ads on it. So make sure to check out the most recent episode of Welcome to Vale, episode 3, which just went up. Check out our panel and a preview of the next episode on Mixer. The link is down below if you're watching us on YouTube, and we will tweet it out on the Rooster Team. But thank you so much for watching this episode of Rooster Teeth Reviews right here on AfterBuzz TV Animation. We'll see you on Wednesday.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
RTX! RTX! RTX!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.